This is a Craftsman 24-inch snowblower, and recently I had some problems with it starting up, and most of it was related to bad gasoline. Though I had drained the engine or drained the fuel tank, I had not drained the engine, which is the carburetor, and this is the float bowl over here. So that had some leftover gasoline from years ago, which really jammed up the carburetor. So what I was going to do is remove the carburetor, but that involves removing the whole section of this, and the carburetor is right behind this thing, so it takes a while to and quite a bit of hassle to remove the carburetor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the bowl, and I'm going to check the spark plug, and then I'm going to pour some carburetor cleaner in there with the gas tank. So I have a can of Seafoam, and that I'm going to pour it, let it soak overnight into the carburetor, and run it for maybe a few minutes, and then let it go into the carburetor, soak it, and then run it the next day. To remove the spark plug, you can pull out the spark plug connector. So this looks to be clean, and for the spark plug I will use a 21. I have a 21 deep socket, so that will go and fit in there, and then I will get that spark plug out. So I got the spark plug out. It's a little rusted, but still it will work fine. The next time I will replace the spark plug, but for now I'll clean it. I'll use some rust cleaner here. So I have some PB Blaster. I'm going to put some PB Blaster and clean this up. The rest of the spark plug looks fine, not much damage or a lot of damage over here, so it should be good for now. So I have a PB Blaster which works very well with the rust, so I'm going to spray some PB Blaster in it, let it soak, and clean that. I'll also use some PB Blaster over here into the compartment here, and some of these places where I see some rust. And let it soak. I'm not going to put the spark plug back in, so it goes right there. So it's clean enough for now, and I have some PB Blaster which will help it prevent more. The only thing is it goes in at an angle, so make sure that you are hand tightening it to start with, and tighten as much as you can. And then I'll use the socket. Again, this is the 21mm socket I have, deep socket, or any other socket. I think 13x16 if you have a different set. That should work. Tighten the spark plug in there, and I'm going to put this connector back in. Make sure it goes in all the way. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the fuel in here. So if I open this bolt, this is a 10mm drain bolt from the float valve. So the float keeps the gas in there and it feeds the engine with the gas. When it gets lower, the float opens up the valve, needle valve, and it gets back. So there is already a little bit of gas in here. I'm going to release that gas, and then I'm going to put in some seafoam with gasoline and run it for a little bit. Here I have a bottle of seafoam. This is a very good thing to clean your carburetor, and it goes right into the gas tank, and it says up to 2 ounces for small engines. So 2 ounces, up to 2 ounces per gallon. So I'm not going to put a lot of gasoline in there. So I'm going to pour in maybe a 1 ounce of it. This one contains 16 ounces. And I'm going to put 1 ounces in there, put some fuel, and let it get into the engine, run it for a little bit, and then let it soak the seafoam in there for overnight. Since the engine is cold right now, I will start it, push the ignition on, make the engine speed to go to the fastest speed, and then I will make it the choke to go to the choke. Let it be in the choke, and then since this is in choke, I will prime it. 2, 3, and start it up. I will reduce the choke and let it run on its own. I'm going to pour like 4 ounces or so into this gas tank with some gasoline, so, and then run it on the engine. So that should be, I don't have a lot of gas in the tank either way, so I'm going to just run this seafoam with the gasoline that's there in the engine and run it all the way to empty, so that this seafoam runs into it, into the carburetor, and gets into all the places in the carburetor. Here I'm going to run the gas in the tank to empty the tank all the way. So I will keep it running until all the seafoam and the little fuel I had put in with the seafoam is all run out, so the carburetor bowl should be empty of any gasoline.